Davis, I want to do the flip side because this is why Big Fannie Willis, when she got the indictment on Trump and Rudy and everybody else and Cleta, right? She wanted to put Trump in jail for 100 years for this, right? As protection, she wanted to get a fire break between where the real crime scene is and that crime scene. The evidence of the crime right now, it's a crime scene, is inside that massive 600,000 square foot warehouse, sir.
Yeah, when Democrats get caught with their hands in the cookie jar with their blatant crimes, I would say watch out for the riots. We may have Democrat instituted riots later, like they did in Minnesota, Minneapolis, when the Somali pirates got caught stealing billions of dollars in American taxpayer money, working with these Minnesota Democrat politicians. They tried to distract with riots. So who knows what they're going to do here? But I would just say this with Fulton County. What do they have? 500,000 ballots from the 2020 election that they didn't want to turn over to the Justice Department as part of a lawsuit by the Justice Department, and then you had the FBI go raid and get these documents. It was authorized by a United States magistrate judge to get these voting records from 2020. What did they have to hide? It's amazing that 2020 was an anomaly, and Democrats squeaked by Joe Biden, who couldn't get out of his home and couldn't fill his COVID circles in 2020, somehow squeaked by in Georgia. And they don't want to turn over the evidence, and they say it's voter intimidation. How the hell is it voter intimidation to turn over ballots from 2020 that aren't tied to the voters? They are decoupled from the voter registration, so you wouldn't know how these people voted anyway. They just want to look at the ballots. It's obvious that the Democrats are hiding this because they have something to hide. They know that the 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they're going to get caught.
As Tamara Garland's wife and his wingman and all that, she's worked with him side by side. She just said, "Hey, it is Fannie Willis. It's Fulton County. It's the election board there. It's the Democrats. It's a Democrat county." But she said there was establishment Republicans, Raffensperger in this crowd, Carr. They have not been particularly helpful in this. Mike Davis, why is that?
Well, I have a theory that Republican white Southern men tend to be the biggest cowards on the planet, particularly politicians. They're so scared of being called racist. They are so concerned about being accepted by the elite, and it's just something in their DNA with these Southern white Republican politicians that just make them total cowards. We saw this recently with James Comer, who essentially said that President Trump should wave the white flag and pull out of Minneapolis. I mean, it's unbelievable to me how these white male Republican politicians in the South can be utter cowards.
Yeah, it's not helpful. Right there, we're seeing this is FBI. You got an FBI truck. The FBI commenced a raid. Do I have Sally Grubbs? What time did this raid start? What time were you guys notified that something was coming down at this warehouse where the Fulton County voting records are kept? What time were you notified?
Steve, I was notified actually by some people that saw a news break item and texted it to me, and they were asking me about it, and I'm like, no, nobody called me. I have when I first heard about it, I called Dr. Johnston about 1:23, and she was on the road back from out of town, and there was no consultation or counseling, on my part or her part. So I was like, well, my office is only about 20 minutes away. So should I head down there? And she's like, yeah, I'll meet you there. So we've been here. I got here just before 2:00. Did not receive a warm welcome at the at the front office. of the election board office. And, like Dr. Johnston was saying, this building is huge and there are numerous different offices contained with it. I mean, it's just like a big manufacturing warehouse, and there are numerous different divisions of offices in there. And they said, well, you have to go back to the clerk of court, office. And we go back here, and Dr. Johnston and another friend arrived, and also another member of the state election board, Sarah Gazal, arrived. And there's no signage, there's nothing to tell you where to go. So it was just kind of, persistence and Dr. Johnston knocking on the door and us getting entry. And then, like I said, the Democrat legislators started showing up, and it was like a funeral or something. It was really kind of odd, but we're very thankful to see the FBI here. We now have a better visual, as you're showing on your monitors, of the FBI guys and the command center. And I'm just like, I'm glad that none of these trucks are shredding trucks. That's all I can tell you, Steve.
Well, let's talk about it, Dr. Johnston. Do
Yeah.
you think? I mean, the way people reacted. Do you think all Cleta just went through a huge manifest of information that's supposed to be there, and it seems pretty voluminous. Do you anticipate that any of it's been destroyed? I mean, in your knowledge as a member of the Georgia State Election Board, because you guys have been fighting this in courts forever. I take it you assume that all of this information is going to be readily available, and if it's not, that's going to be an issue?
Steve, the best I know is that the documents are contained in about 700 boxes that have been held in the clerk of the courts area in this warehouse. And my understanding is they're completely unorganized and not inventoried well. We don't know where the documents are in those 700 boxes. And I have advised people over the last several months that we have no other choice but to recommend that all 700 boxes be removed and taken out of the hands of Fulton County so that we can look for the documents that we've been looking for years and have been unable to get Fulton County to provide or produce or even try to find. So we're looking for those tabulator tapes. We're looking for numbered voter list. We would like to know who is eligible to vote for the 2020 election. We're looking for documents to prove that the ballot boxes that they claimed produced thousands of votes were actually real ballot boxes. And the whole purpose of this is to look for areas of inconsistency and irregularities. So to understand what happened, if it did happen, so it will not happen in future elections. That's the point of the state election board's investigation and participation in this.
Do the state election, I'm going to go to Garland Favre here in a second, but does the state, just the structures, the state election board oversee Raffensperger in the job he had as the Secretary of State? Are you an advisory committee to him? Are you totally independent and supervise him? What is the structure between you and, because everybody in the audience, when you mention in the War Room Posse, when you mention Brad Raffensperger's name, they spit right on the floor. So what is the association with Raffensperger and the Georgia State Elections Board, which people work so hard to say, we got to get these really smart and tough people like you and Sally on there?
Right. Well, in a number of years past, the state election board did provide oversight of the Secretary of State and their election office. But it's been a more complicated recent history because Secretary Raffensperger was removed from the state election board as the chair, and then the state election board was legislated to become completely independent of the Secretary of State's office. But that has been complicated and been an unhappy relationship because of the last several years, the last 5 years. So we are technically an independent agency now, but we still have challenges in obtaining cooperation from the
Yeah.
Secretary of State's office.
By the way, I think that relationship's about to get a lot more complicated. You can see right there on the camera. That's I'm just throwing that out there for. No, you see right there. We have the panel truck that the FBI's backed up, and you'll see a forklift go in and out every so often. And we assume right now, because of the activity of the FBI outside, that is actually the evidence that Cleta just read to us about. Garland Favoritos, I have Garland up. Garland, you and Tamara, the same question. We understand why Fulton County, the Democrats, would be you had to fight them tooth and nail and go to court and make sure they didn't destroy, at least have court orders that they couldn't destroy stuff. But why is Raffensperger and these establishment Republicans, you think, would be open to the fact of potential cheating that went on? Would you not?
Well, you've said it all along, Steve. It's a uniparty. The Republican establishment and the Democratic establishment work together. Kemp was the Secretary of State before Raffensperger, and he won on these machines. When his first office was in 2002, when he won a state Senate seat in a big upset. The first year they put in the original unverifiable voting system, the paperless system, devolved all the way back in 2002. Ever since that time, when he won that state Senate seat, he's wanted to become Secretary of State for some reason. Now we kind of know why. Brad Raffensperger came in and he continued the same thing. He has sold out. It would take a half of a show to talk about how he has sold out the Secretary of State's office to the most rabid anti-Trump Democrats and given them contracts for all sorts of different things, from Dominion to Voting Works to David Becker and Eric, and the list just goes on. He's picked the worst possible people. He has been worse than any Democrat could have been, and that's. I just think they're all in it together. I don't think it's anything about the South and the North. I think that you see the same thing up in the North. It's just the uniparty that we've been fighting all along. That, you and Mike Lindell.
We'll let Davis go on that. We'll let Davis go on that one. He's a guy from Iowa. We understand. A lot of what he said was true there. Social media, we got to bounce. We're going to have you on tomorrow morning show. Garland, you and Tamara, where do we go to get you guys?
voterga.org. voterga.org.
We're all volunteers.
Thank you guys for being
got
out there.
Got a 3-to-1 donation match on right now through the end of the month.
We're here because of your efforts, because of your fight. It's amazing. Sally Grubbs, Dr. Jan, can you give us your social media and Twitter? We're going to follow this as you guys are going to be out there. We're having the show tomorrow morning. Where do people go?
Steve, this is Sally, and mine is at first, the number 1 STVC GAGOP you know what? They can just search me by my name, Sally Grubbs, on Twitter or X. I'm sorry. I apologize, Elon.
Thank you, ma'am.
And
Twitter's
Steve,
Dr. Jan, where did we get you? Yes, ma'am.
On Twitter, Dr. Jan, election advocate. Or election
Thank you, ma'am.
advocate.
You guys are heroes. You guys are heroes for 6 years fighting this. Just absolutely unbelievable. I guess 5 years total, if I count right. Thank you, guys. I'll catch up with you tonight and see you on the show tomorrow morning. Cleta Mitchell, we got 2 minutes. How did this come about? You've been fighting this in Washington, D.C., leading the effort in the Imperial Capitol. How did all of a sudden the FBI appear out of nowhere today to shock the Democratic apparatus and the Democratic apparatus in Fulton County and the state Republican apparatus? How did you make it happen?
Well, I think the fact that, you said it, Steve, the fact that Donald Trump got reelected and they never dreamed that would happen. The reason we have a criminal investigation going on today and not before, because the Georgia Bureau of Investigation should have started this investigation 5 years ago, but they didn't, because only the governor has the authority to ask them to do that. And Governor Kemp would never do it. And I think it's really important to realize that don't ever forget, we filed an election contest on behalf of President Trump in December of 2020. And we outlined all the irregularities, far more illegal votes counted and in the vote totals than the margin between President Trump and Joe Biden. And we never got a judge appointed to hear the case. I've never heard of that.
Yep.
I've never heard of that. And so the clock just ran out, and we never got to put our evidence on in a court of law. And so that's how it happened. That's how it happened.
Yeah.
They were intent upon not having Donald Trump win.
No, they never thought this they would come. Your social media, ma'am, because they were Fannie Willis trying to put you in prison. They wanted you were Tina Peters to them. They wanted you you're just you're a Georgia peach Tina Peters. What's your social media?
At Cleta Mitchell on X and on Truth Social. Cleta Mitchell.
Cleta, you're a fighter, a North Carolinian, but you're a fighter, a Tar Heel, fighting down in Georgia. Fabulous, great day, Cleta. Fantastic work, Mike Davis. We got to get over to Mike Lindell, but we wouldn't be here without Article 3 also. You fought Fannie Willis. You fought it all. This is why they wanted to put Trump in prison. This is why they want to put Cleta Mitchell in prison. This is why they want to put Rudy in prison. Because of this day. And a hat tip to Kash Patel and the folks over the FBI, hat tip to DOJ and the Main Justice. This was a tractor pull, folks, behind the scenes. Mike Davis, give me a minute closing observations, and then I want people to go to Article 3 today.
Yeah, I wanted to say cheers to Attorney General Pam Bondi and Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Harmeet Dillon. They're the ones who brought these civil lawsuits against these Fulton County operatives to get their voting records from 2020, and they used the Civil Rights Act of 1960 to do it. The Attorney General has vast and broad power to get voting records under the Civil Rights Act of 1960. These Fulton County officials tried to obstruct the investigation, and they learned the hard way that you're not going to mess with Pam Bondi and Harmeet Dillon and Kash Patel. This is not the Trump One Justice Department. These are bold and fearless warriors.
Listen, all those guys and the DAG over the Todd, they've all taken incoming. Today is victory begets victory, folks. Mike, I got to track you down about Minnesota. I don't have time to do it now. Victory begets victory. Mike Davis said it. We ain't backing down in Minnesota. We're not going to back down in Minneapolis. We're doubling down. We're not backing down. Davis, where to go to Article 3? I need people to go there right now.
Yeah, thank you to the War Room Posse. You guys are warriors, and you got a big victory today. It's article3project.org, article number 3project.org. Follow us on social media, donate, but only what you can afford, and action, action, action.